Hello, my fellow sodomites, fag hags, and squirrel friends, and everyone else in between. How are you? Really? That's good. Oh, it's a Philly cheesesteak. Philly cheesesteak for anyone who's asking. It is 10:30 p.m. I have to be up at 7 a.m. to go to Kentucky. And I have not been packed yet. I have not even washed my makeup brushes yet. But anyway, today's episode of Barbie Wire's Life Falls Apart is about drugs. No, I do not condone drugs. I condone first-degree murder. But I thought it'd be fun to tell the tale of the one and only time that I have done acid. ASMR. Hello, ASMR. Is that you? Oh my god. And yes, I do have pictures. If you're interested in hearing about me becoming a tree, feeling like an alien that landed from outer space, and so I'm having a great time. My hands are melting. I stared in the mirror. My face melted. It was a good time. Keep tuned. Keep on watching.
Then you finally start to see the world for what it is. And it's a fucking trick.
Alright, so since the ripe old age of 13 years old, I have always wanted to do 4 main drugs.
How it feels to chew 5 gum.
Hey, don't you love to feel things?
There was weed, shrooms, coke.
Really? No, I'm just kidding. I only had the first 2.
And so today's story is about acid. I've done it once. It was crazy. So, there I was. It was last winter break, so December of 2018. And a girl had nothing to do. She wasn't hired yet.
Hi, Taco Bell. Yes, are you hiring today?
And she also had friends that were bailing on her, and she's like, you know what? And her boyfriend was about to break up with her, so she's like, you know what? Let me do some acid. So, found someone who was selling. First of all, sketchy as fuck. Went there, and she sold me 2 300 microgram tabs of acid in like the tiniest, like fucking like piece of the cart. Oh my god, you see my eyeball? Whoa, oh my god.
My name is Olympia, I'm 17, I'm just a regular suburban chick.
Hi, it's like some children of the cornfield shit. They were small. I bought them, obviously. Then a week and a half later, I'm at my chosen family's house. There's no electricity or lights or anything yet, so everything's running off of a generator. So just imagine a happening constantly in the background, outside. Very peaceful. And it was me and my dear friend, let's call him Cardiac. Yeah, Cardiac. So we had talked about doing it before, and we were gonna do it. So at my chosen family's house, my dear sister, Bunny, is what we'll call her. Bunny, was going to babysit me while our good friend Nikolai was going to watch Cardiac. Ugh. So before Cardiac and I, do it, I'm like, you know what? I want us both to have a good time. I think a big part of this is about headspace. So let's go into the bathroom in the dark. And let's just lock the door, sit in the bathtub, close the curtain, and just sit there and let's meditate. So, do this with me. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Take a deep breath in. And shake it all about. But yeah, we did like a 5-minute meditation just to clear our heads, get in a good headspace. And then I have a picture of this. We each got a little tab, put it on the other person's tongue. And then it was about 6 p.m. around this time, maybe 5:30. Anyway, 20 minutes in, I'm like, I look at Cardiac, and I say, hey, are the walls melting for you? And he's just like, and I'm like, all right, cool. So this is like real. So thus it begins. Time was fake at this point. So things from this point on in my memory are a little discombobulated. I'll hit the main points though. So we're about an hour in. The walls are melting. I look at my hands. Oh, there they go. They're melting. My friends have like color force, like, I don't know, auras, but they're not super really auras, just like bouncing off of them. And I'm like, this is so cool. And what was craziest about it was that I felt completely lucid the whole time. Like, I was able to look and I would be like, hey, Bunny, is that wall like going inside itself? And Ollie would be like, no. And I'd be like, okay, cool, great, it's the acid. So I felt totally in control of myself, and so did Cardiac. Well, the whole point of it for me was to see music, right? Because that's something that since I was 13, I was like, I just want to see Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Like, I want to see it. Like, and that's something I heard acid can do to you. And by the way, for a quick reference, 300 micrograms is a lot. Like, it's so the average person, whenever they're tripping on acid, is about 100 micrograms. So we took 3 times that, Cardiac and I, and that was also both of our first times doing it. So I put in my headphones, and I'm just like listening to it from beginning to end. And like, it's binaural, and anyone who's listened to Dark Side of the Moon knows, like, from beginning to end, just like a lot happening. I'm just like, my eyes are closed, I'm just like, oh man, emotional. And then I open my eyes, I'm like, Cardiac, you need to listen to this. And I put the headphones on him. And he was like, okay. And he was like, don't touch me, but okay. But please don't touch me, but okay. And I was like, totally, I'm not gonna touch you. Here are the headphones. And then he started doing it, and then like, it could have been 10 seconds, it could have been 5 minutes. Some point later, he opened his eyes and was like, now it's like, yeah. And he was like, yeah. And then after I do that, I'm like trying to explain to Bunny what the fuck is going on with me right now, because this is a lot. This is a loaded experience. And I said, I can't, like, you can't put this into words. You can't, like, I can't use my words. I'm trying to find the language to explain to you what this feels like, and I can't. So I'm going to draw it for you. And Bunny was like, okay, sweetie. And I was like, okay. And then it was my mission. So I have pictures. Okay. So, if we go, no. Okay, here, let's just, no, I don't know what the hell is gonna pop up here. Okay. So, I'm like, sitting crisscross applesauce, 20 Sharpies at my disposal, and I'm just like opening them and then drawing and then dropping it, picking up another one, opening it, drawing, dropping it. And I saw the lines on the paper before they were there. And then I drew this image right here. And I said, this, Bunny, this is what it feels like to be on acid. And Bunny was like, okay, sweetie, all right. And I was like, yeah. And so we're just gonna take a little trip down memory lane and talk about the things I was seeing. So this is like a face that I said I kept seeing throughout the night. I wasn't scared of it. I was not scared of anything whatsoever. Oh, this one. Okay. So, Cardiac and I were trying to explain to each other and to the people who weren't tripping what this was like. So, I described it. Anyone who's seen Danny Phantom knows the ghost zone. So, imagine that, like, the ghost zone was like a membrane, right? Like, you could push against it, but you couldn't, like, break through it. And then there's the acid world on one side of the membrane, and then the real world on the other. So, Ollie... Bunny is Ollie. So, Ollie and Nikolai and everyone, they could push against the membrane into the acid world, but they couldn't go inside it. Now, Cardiac and I, we could, like, jump in between freely. We could be like, oh my god, acid world, and be in, like, our own little plane of existence where it's just us, focusing in on us. And then we could hop back and be like, Ollie, Nikolai, this is what's happening. Or we could be, like, in between and just be like, this is crazy. Anyway, so this is what this is. This is the ghost zone, or the acid zone. This is the real world. And this right here, these little green dots right here, that's where Cardiac and I were. So, yeah. And then, okay, I have more pictures. So, oh, and then there was this whole thing. This dude came in, and he started rapping his SoundCloud to us, and he was drunk. And I remember looking at Ollie and saying, Ollie. And she's like, yes, sweetie. And I said, I'm going to get me, B, high on acid to get him, that straight boy, Andrew, who is drunk, naked, before the end of tonight. I got him down to his underwear within 20 minutes. Okay. Oh my god, here we go. So, we took a little trip outside, and, you know, we were just walking around, and, oh, I remember, so it was nighttime at this point. It was maybe, like, midnight, 6 hours into this trip, still peaking, and I remember just walking around, and, like, Ollie and them started to, like, fall behind me, and I just looked at them, and I said, no, this is something I need to do alone. And they were like, okay, hon. And I was like, thank you. And then I literally took, like, 30 steps forward into the yard, stood still for, like, a few minutes, and then, like, walked back to them, and I was like, I'm good. And then they're like, okay. And then I went up, and there was a tree, and I sat up against the tree. And what was crazy is, like, the moment I did that, I could feel my skin, like, I felt my body sink into the tree, and I felt my skin become bark, and I felt like I was a part of the tree. And this is what that looked like. So, just to remind you, all these pictures were drawn while I was on acid. So this is what that looked like. See, this is what it's like to be a tree. Also, 3 things. How it feels I'm a tree. 2, myself without physical. She was going through it. So that was fun. Oh, here we go. So, I'm a rule breaker. And I was like, if I'm going to do acid, then I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm going to experience it. Because if this is the only time I'm doing it, like, I want to know what the fuck it feels like to do all the things. So I went into the bathroom, locked the door. Remind you, there are no lights. So, because the generator is, like, just happening. But it's not turned on at the moment. So we just have some candles until we can get some more gasoline. So there's 1 candle in the bathroom, lighting everything. And I stare in the mirror intensely. And after a couple of seconds of me just staring into the mirror, and my expression is like, I start to see so imagine, like, someone's taking a video of you. Like, I just recorded myself like this, and took 12 different videos of me just sitting in this exact position. But each video is doing a slightly different expression, maybe like, and nothing would be like hyperbolic, it would just be all like slightly different, and then layered each one on top of each other, and it was all like kind of like, ooh. So that's what was happening with like my face, and I was just like, and like I would touch my face wouldn't be moving. And then after that went on for a couple minutes, or like maybe it's 20 minutes, who knows. Everything, like, my face just kind of became like one, and then my reflection started to be like, And I was like, and I felt my mouth to see if I was smiling, and I was not smiling, girl. And then right when it started smiling, I was like the skin like bulbed out, like there were little horns, but they weren't like bone. They were like just little bulbs of skin started to go like, and then immediately just, and like my skin started like melt down. So this is what that was like. This is what it felt like to look in a mirror. Oh, this is when you look in a mirror. So says I on acid. Let's see here. And then there's a couple of other things too. Let's see here. Oh. This was about my identity, and this was about like how I saw myself and how like I really am, and like I don't know, girl, layers of identity were peeling back. It was crazy. Oh, this is when I let myself go cross-eyed and look at my friends and who were sitting back to back. That was wild. Let's see. Oh, this was who I wanted to be, and I think that this was like meant to be like the frequency that I was hearing. It was just like a bunch of dots like overlapping each other. And I think that's all I really got to draw that night. But later that night, that drunk dude, Andrew, he started to talk about how he talked to Thor or some Nordic god or something, and how sometimes like the gods would like take over his body. And mind you, this was after he like forced us to listen to his SoundCloud rap. And then he just started speaking in tongues, hunched over, naked, just like, and I'm just like, I'm high on acid. I'm just like, Ollie, is he speaking in tongues or am I just high on acid? And Ollie was like, he's speaking in tongues. And I was like, are you real or am I just high on acid? And Ollie was like, I'm real. And I was like, I'm gonna trust that. Okay, cool. So that was scary. Then we had to go get in Nikolai's car to go get gas for the fucking generator. And Cardiac and I, we were having a time. It was maybe like 3 a.m. at this point. And we go to the gas station and they tell us very clearly, stay in the car, do not leave. And I was like, you can't tell me what to do. And they said, B, stay in the car. And I said, okay. And then they went into the gas station at 3 a.m. And I look at Cardiac and I'm like, I'm not staying in this car. And Cardiac was like, no, B, you need to stay in the car. We're on acid right now. And I was like, I know. And how often am I going to get to walk around a gas station at 3 a.m. on acid? And Cardiac was like, well, if you're going to go, I'm going to go with you because I want to be alone. And I was like, okay. And then, so I get out of the car. Cardiac gets out of the car. I walk into this gas station. And then as I'm walking forward, I remember Ollie and Nikolai like look through the out the gas station and see us. And they're not angry or anything. They just have the most disappointed look on their faces. Like, ugh. Like, so disappointed in us. And I remember thinking that was so funny. And I just walked in and I was like, hey guys, I decided to get out of the car. And the cashier lady was like, are they okay? And then they were like, yeah, no, they're fine. It's just a Saturday night. They're on winter break. And she's like, okay. And then I'm just like, literally just like stumbling around like, wow. And just picking up like the colorful packets of candy or whatever, looking at it, I'm like, man, this is crazy. And then cut 3 hours later is 6 a.m. Carter and I are still tripping balls. It has been like 12 hours. And then we're like, you know what? Can y'all like drive us back to my dorm and then we'll just sleep it off there? And then they were like, yeah, sure. So Cardiac and I decided to sleep in my dorm. I zonk out around 6:30 a.m. Cardiac decides to stay up and just draw and write and everything, and goes to bed around 8 a.m. and he was still tripping when he went to bed. And so we woke up and we were just like, that was crazy. Yeah, so I might have missed a couple of major points, but that was the general gist of that night. Love acid, Highly recommend it. Do it around people that you trust and love. I had a great time, and I think I'm probably gonna do it again. Like, not gonna lie. Don't condone drugs. I do not condone drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on drugs. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of my story, being on acid for 12 plus hours. Let me know, have you guys ever done any psychedelic? Like, what was your best time on it? What was your worst time on it? Was it scary? Was it fun? Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe if you enjoyed this freeform content. I hope to make over 100 videos before 2020. And I make all sorts of videos, story times, makeup tutorials, like compilations, like edits. I don't know, girl. I'm here for a good time. I'm not your mother's James Charles, and I never will be. Yeah, subscribe, hit the bell notification, follow me on Instagram, because, you know, your girl's trying to get at least Aquaria famous is the goal. But honestly, I'm just here for a good time. Thank you guys so much for listening, and to my ramblings. I hope you have a great day. Bye.